This is the busted jiu-jitsu technique that will allow you to submit black belts in 2025. I've been developing my guillotine for the last 6 months, and in this video I'll be breaking it down into a mission-based system, giving you all the tools you need to become a guillotine expert in only 1 week. Alright dude, you ready to go learn the guillotine?
Yeah.
Perfect, you got your Rashguard, your bag, your gi and everything, and of course you remember the front headlock details we covered yesterday, right?
Huh?
The front headlock, like how you get the guillotine in the first place.
Huh?
Did last night mean anything to you?
Yeah.
Dude, get back in the gym. All right, so let's talk about the front headlock here. So my chest is behind the back of my opponent's head, forcing them to carry my weight. I'm gable gripping right here behind the tricep, pulling that arm inward. Notice my knee is behind my hips here. That way when he drives into me, I slide backwards. Whereas if my knee's in front of my hips here and he drives, I fall over. Lastly, to attack the guillotine, we're gonna start with this gable grip behind the tricep, pulling that arm. Instinctively, he wants to pull this arm back. As he does, we slip the hand, grab our palm, and we fall to the guillotine. Now that we have the front headlock in our arsenal, let me take you to where I found the first mission in our guillotine system, and none other than Trinidad and Tobago. This is Tyler Spangler. He's a black belt and boasts one of the strongest guillotines on YouTube.
I don't remember this, right? I don't remember this when we're rolling. Can you imagine if I ankle lock? You're not gonna ankle lock me now. Look at him struggle.
See, the problem that most white belts have when attacking the guillotine is they fall flat on their back. But if you compare that to Tyler's guillotine, a small adjustment makes a big difference. And unfortunately, it wasn't an easy learning experience. So one of the biggest gems that we can take from Tyler's guillotine is this right here. Mission 1, planting the head. The premise of Mission 1 is to ensure that your opponent's head hits the mat before your back does. This also instinctively forces your feet to one side of their body. And now with both of our feet to one side of their body and the head planted, it makes it very easy for us to move on to missions 2 and 3. Now more recently, as I continued to obsess over the guillotine, I ended up finding a few problems. One in particular was when they jumped over my left leg and managed to get their body to the opposite side of the submission. Now, one of the best examples for the solution to this problem was actually found in my first fight to win. After some major back and forth takedowns, I finally latched onto my front headlock and began attacking the guillotine. With Eduardo driving into me, I'm doing my best to implement Mission 1, planting his head onto the mat and getting my legs to one side of his body. However, while I am able to get his head to the mat, because of the lack of Mission 2, he's able to switch his hips and escape. Now let's look at the solution. So later in the match, I'm able to lock back onto my front headlock, slap on the guillotine, and with Mission 1 being completed with Eduardo's head on the mat, this gives us access to Mission 2, attaching the foot to the far hip. So far in this video, we've learned the front headlock and how to attack the guillotine from that position. This was like your favorite position. We looked at Mission 1, planting the head and forcing our feet to one side of the body. We've also looked at Mission 2, attaching our foot to the far hip, limiting our opponent's mobility and allowing us to work towards the finish. Now, as I continued my development and started making my way to different gyms around the area, I not only found the last problem I was having with finishing the guillotine, but I found the solution to it as well. Now, the third and final mission is what really makes the guillotine so lethal. In fact, this concept is so strong that you can almost abandon the first 2 missions and still be able to find success in any configuration, as long as you follow this simple step. And to demonstrate our final mission, I want to take you guys on a trip to Missoula, Montana, to a gym called Trap House Jiu-Jitsu. Here, I'll not only reveal Mission 3, but I'll take you guys into live sparring, giving you real-time examples of how I use all 3 missions and hit the guillotine from almost any position.
1, 2, 3,
So our first round here at Trap House Jiu-Jitsu is going to be against a tough brown belt named Stevie. So off the bat, I'm going for this De La Riva sweep using my hooks to off-balance her to her hands and then reweaving my foot to the inside position to gain top position. As I start cutting around the guard, Stevie begins to turtle. Now this avoids the guard pass and her being stuck in side control, but what it does open up is the front headlock. Now, one of the biggest correlations between the guillotine and outside passing is as you're passing on the outside of the guard and your opponent decides to turtle, they swivel their knees and come up with their head directly under your chest, which is perfect for the front headlock and being able to attack the guillotine. In doing so, I'm able to fall directly into the guillotine and complete mission 1, planting the head and getting both my feet to the opposite side of the body. I throw my foot across her back onto her far hip, completing mission 2 and nullifying most explosive movement. That way I can start to work towards mission 3. And to do that, we simply have to raise the knuckles over her shoulder. With all 3 missions being perfectly implemented, we're able to finish the guillotine, and now we move on to one of my long-standing rivals. Now, I've covered this match a lot before, but here I want to break down the intricacies of the guillotine and how we're attacking this submission. But it's definitely not going to be an easy task getting there. Callan starts off initially looking to sweep, but then ends up falling back into his own guillotine. Now, one of the reasons this wasn't super effective is mostly because his chest wasn't over my head, and as I start to raise my posture, it's going to be very hard for him to keep that grip. Now, let's get down to business. I'm going to start by clubbing Callan's head to his right side as I jump my legs backwards and look to get my chest on the back of Callan's head, as we've talked about a lot in this video. You guys can see me drop to my right hip here as I plant Callan's head on the mat, and this completes mission 1. Now, as Callan senses he's in danger, he's going to explosively roll out here to his left side. However, I was able to beat him to it and get my foot on the far hip as he was rolling. As we continue to roll, Callan's able to align my guillotine and my legs on the same side. In order to lock him in, I need to swivel my hips again, that way I can put my legs on the opposite side, reattach my foot to the far hip, and from here we complete mission 3, dragging our knuckles above his shoulder line to complete the finish. So our final match of the day is going to be a brown belt named Keon Gallagher, and I was able to find a pretty sick sequence, so let's break this down. I'm going to start looking for my collar tie wrist, as this is a great control point and allows us to hit our snap down. As I start to look to control Keon's posture, my goal here is to get my chest over the back of his head and pull him down to his hands. However, because his head is offset to his chest, he's able to sit to guard, and here we go. I plant his head to the mat and get my feet to the opposite side of his body. Now, Keon not only uses his right hand to block my leg from coming over his back, but he then forward rolls, relieving the pressure on the guillotine, and also hiding that space for me to complete mission 2. Now, as Keon jumps over again, I'm using my left leg to catch him midair and prevents him from jumping to the other side. Now, as both of us settle down from our momentum, I'm feeding him directly into mission 1, planting the head. To complete mission 2, I throw my legs very far away out of his reach, and then to complete mission 3, I simply raise my wrist over his neck, and we find the submission. Okay, so with all of this knowledge now in our arsenal, how do we actually develop these techniques and tools to train our guillotine in only 1 week? Okay, so we've went over all the missions that go into... I definitely talked way too much during this segment, so I'm going to simplify it a little bit. We're going to look to play 3 different games to develop our guillotine. The first one is going to consist of trying to maintain 3 dominant grips on our opponent. This includes collar tie wrist, 2-on-1, or underhook and head position. From those options, we can attack a variety of takedowns, but more importantly, we want to look to attack our snap down. The way I implement this into training is I set a timer for 5 minutes, and both players are looking to attack those dominant grips and find the snap down. I eliminate all other types of takedowns except for snap downs, foot sweeps, duck unders, and slide bys. By limiting the variety of takedowns we can use, we can more consciously attack the snap downs and guillotines while still maintaining a level of threat using those minor takedowns. To learn more about that game, check out this video right here. The next 2 games we're going to look to spar from are fairly similar. We're going to start in a front headlock, one with the tripod stance and one with our opponent on their knees. Our objective from both positions are to either attack the guillotine or attack the back. It's important we maintain that threat, as it'll allow us to be conscious of advancing position and also to create a threat to distract our opponent and hopefully open up that guillotine. So I hope you guys were able to take something away from this video. If you did, let me know in the comments below, but that'll wrap things up for today. So go pass some guards.
Dude, you don't know what the front headlock is?